to the Board Game Community Show. I'm your host, Riley Stark. Join me as I get to know folks in this community. They could be designers or streamers, podcasters, YouTubers, publishers, whatever. Really anything with an "er" at the end of its title is welcome here on the Board Game Community Show. Welcome back to the Board Game Community Show. Today I am rejoined by Fabricio Leotti. How you doing?
Hey man, thank you so much, Riley, for having me again. It's a big pleasure to be here again.
This is your third time. I was about to say I'm glad to have you back for the second time, but no, this is third.
Yeah, that's the third time actually. Yes.
Yeah. Too long it feels like, honestly. Fabricio is just an amazing person. This guy is awesome. The game he's working on is Hyperwars, which looks incredible. It looks even better now than it did last year. He had a Kickstarter. In case you don't know, he had a Kickstarter last year, didn't succeed. You canceled it right before it ended.
Yes, I canceled halfway through the campaign. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then over the last year, you've reworked it and are getting ready. I mean, we'll just start right now and just say the Kickstarter is launching again on October 27th?
Correct, yes.
Perfect.
Exactly.
I don't have a great memory. I'm glad I got that.
And if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to the other the other episode I was in before, it was exactly about this thing, when the campaign was not successful, and then we have a great discussion about the outcomes, the learnings, everything. So if you are on that spot trying to launch your first campaign, just go there and listen to it. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I recommend it to people all the time who are running a campaign and either it's not working or who are getting ready. It's just okay, well, I listen to this. I promise you'll get something out of it. Which I loved that conversation. I wish we had even more time on it. That was a longer episode too, but I felt like we probably could have gone for days.
The whole series, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, you could dedicate a podcast to that. So, but before we dive into all the gaming aspects, let's catch up a little. How are the cats?
So they're great. Yeah. So they're still very fluffy. One of them, if you remember from previous episodes, I had 6 cats. One of them, unfortunately, passed away this year in April. It was our oldest one. So, but she had a long life and was very happy for sure. So, yeah, it was just her time, I believe. So, yeah. So it's, but the others are all great. They are always so fluffy and so cute. I have to keep this door closed, otherwise they're gonna flood the place and I can't do anything else. But
yeah. I was just outside before we started, and we got a new kitten 2 months ago, and he was so excited I was out of my office. He was playing and jumping around me, and I'm I'm sorry, I gotta go back. I can't let you in the office. You'll just jump on the desk and knock things over and want to play the entire interview. And but sometimes you can hear him. Sometimes he'll start meowing. We talked about this, and this was our ridiculous theme too. Was the litter thing?
Yeah, exactly. I still remember the game we talked about that time. Yes, it was great.
Yeah, it's even going from 2 to 3 cats is such a big difference on the litter. I used to have to change my litter every 3 days or so, that was when I needed to clean it. But now it's really every day and a half, maybe I need to touch it up.
Yeah, they're big poop machines, to be honest. So
I know. Okay. Other than that, kombucha. How's the kombucha going?
Oh, I haven't been cooking kombucha for such a long time now, but I'm still, of course, taking care of my colony because it's still there and waiting for me, patiently. But I have tried baking bread this last year.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's not as fun as kombucha, I would say, but still very cool. Yeah,
Yeah. Is it good? Do you do like sourdough? Because doesn't
yeah,
that
yeah.
uses bacteria too?
I'm trying that as well. Yes.
Can you use this is this seems weird. Can you use that same bacteria at all? Like can you use
No, not at all. No, no.
okay.
I don't think it would work. I don't think so. No.
I didn't think so. I was like, there's no way, but could you?
Yeah, but that's an interesting question. I haven't looked it up to be honest. So
Yeah. So you just have like jars of bacteria in your house,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Well, what about how's the bread thing going though?
So yeah, I've done sometimes. I'm not doing it like right now, like in the past like month or two, but it's doing good. I mean, it's a very fun activity as well. Not to talk how good it is to eat it, right? So there's no way to do it and not want to eat all the time. So it's something you need to take care as well because otherwise you're just gonna eat bread all the time. So.
My wife would absolutely love that. I see those, there's like a board game baker. Oh man. Of course I'm spacing names right now and I apologize if you listen. But there's the people who make like board game components into a cookie or cupcakes or cakes
Ah,
and stuff. And I always see that and I'm like, that would be so fun, but I would eat all of it. Like I would not share any of that.
that's for sure. I had this very old idea. I had, I don't know, many years ago that if it would be like interesting to make an edible board game. So something like that. You kind of bake the components and then you play and you read them. And then next time you bake them again and then you play and read them again or something like that. If this could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, you could even have like the molds, right? Like that's what you're selling
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
box is like you sell the
Exactly.
molds and everything. Oh, that'd be cool.
That's what it come on the box. So all the molds, like I don't know, this is your worker, and then it's a meeple, and then you can just do like some meeple cookies or something like that. And then,
Yeah. I
so
almost even think of like if you were man, we're already getting into ridiculous theme here kind of. But like, if you had a muffin type thing that was shaped as or a cookie shaped as a person, then of course like, oh, they just took some damage, so you have to bite off an arm.
yes,
Oh,
oh, that would be amazing. Yes, 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 that would be great.
like your health is how much of your cookie is left.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good idea to make an edible board game. I don't know.
That is genius. Yeah, I love that. What else have you been up to? What have you been playing?
So let's see. I've been playing a lot of Root. I'm a huge fan of Root. I think it's one of the best games ever. So it's
Nice.
really really good. But lately I got into some solo games as well. I found about one. What's the names? It's Escape the Labyrinth or no? It's Maze Escape. It's a very small game. It's a single player. I mean, you can play in two players, of course, but then it's cooperative, and it's
Yeah.
basically one single sheet of paper that it starts folded, completely folded like a booklet or something, and then in every face of those folds there are ways, like a labyrinth, a maze of sort. And then you can use either a pen or a meeple or a cube to represent your character. And you just move through these lines in this maze. And the only rule is you can fold or unfold the leaflet in only in the position it was folded in principle. And you can fold and unfold whenever your character is not on the face you want to fold or unfold. And
Interesting.
then you need to find the exit. Basically, there is some place in the exit in the leaflet that has an exit, and you need to go through the labyrinth and go forth and come back and then fold again and unfold. And so it's super interesting, super cool. They have even like advanced settings, like you need to go through all the I don't know chests or through all the torps in the labyrinth before going to the exit, for example. So you need to traverse the labyrinth many times, and like it's super super cool.
That sounds fascinating. I like
Yeah,
the name sounded familiar, but as you described it, I'm like, I don't actually think I've looked at it.
yeah.
So
It's called Maze Escape. It's just one word, like it puts together maze and escape, so Maze Escape all together, and
fun.
it's super fun, super fun.
That is awesome. Other games you've been playing?
Yeah, on the same note, another single player game I've been playing is one from Kinesia. It's what's the name? Brains Japanese Garden. I think it's yeah, that's the name. Brains Japanese Garden,
Oh, okay.
and it's also a single player game. You play. You have like tiles that shows paths on a Japanese garden, and the board or boards, because you have many different ones, like going up on difficulty level, and basically you can put this board on the table, and the board tells you some stuff like through symbols that okay, this path has to contain one of those type of houses, and this path needs to cross three different tiles, for example, and then you need to choose from those 7 or 8 tiles, front and back, how to position them to complete the puzzle. So that's the thing. I'm doing this because I'm trying to design a puzzle game, and it's
Oh,
super hard.
nice.
It's super hard. You need to be so smart to do it. I'm not nearly as smart as I need to make a puzzle. It's very very hard. So
It is.
I'm trying to get some inspiration and so on.
Yeah. I always think, people always show that video and say like board game design where it has the girl watching somebody do like the circle into the circle shape, and there's like, all the different shapes on there. And then they take the square and they're about to put it in the square one, and then they go over to the circle one and they put it in the circle shape or whatever. Maybe it's the opposite, the square shape, whatever it is. Like, and that's like how design can feel sometimes, but then even more so with like a puzzle game where like you like there's ways you could totally kill the puzzle, and there's ways that like there's no way you could have predicted that, and so when you're playtesting it,
Yeah,
it
exactly.
just seems like a whole nother level to like an already complicated process.
Yeah, I read something about designing puzzle video games, and the author says something that I found very interesting. That is, start from the end, like start with the solved puzzle. So you have this solved puzzle. How I like decouple stuff in order to make it challenging to put it back again. So I think it's a in general good idea. I don't think it works for the type of puzzle I'm trying to do, but still, yeah, it still sounds like a good idea. What about
Yeah.
you? What have you been playing?
Oh, so much. My wife and I went to a cabin the other weekend, just the two of us, no cell service, no internet. So mainly
Nice.
all we could do was play games. And so we played a lot of games. Like I played the new Locket game, Red Raven game, Now or Never, which is
Ah,
really good. Like, man, and that's
nice.
one of those things where I look at mechanics, like it's a huge rule book. Took me like probably 45 minutes to like get through the whole rules, set up the
Yeah,
game, maybe an hour. And then I started playing it and I was so intimidated because it's just like, oh, there's so many like small little rules. But once you start playing, it's like, this makes sense,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is crazy to me. It's like, of course I would do it this way because that makes sense thematically. And I think that's one of the genius things like so many designers like Ryan
Yeah.
Lockett do is they make the game just makes sense. Like,
Nice.
yes, once you have a lot of rules, but
Have you played some of the other games from the same, like Near and Far, Above and Below, the
oh
other ones?
yeah, yeah. I
Actually, I can
started
see
with
them
Above
from
and
here,
Below.
right? They're right
Yeah,
behind you in your shelf.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're I put them there consciously because they're some of my favorite. They're probably my favorite games.
Yeah, though, Near and Far is one of my favorite games. It's
Yeah,
amazing. I love it.
and I would still say Near and Far beats Now or Never. Of course, I want the new one to be better and everything,
Of
but
course.
Near and Far it just like hits it so perfectly. That game will probably be in my top 5
Yeah.
or 10. I don't know. I haven't done my
Yeah.
top
It's an amazing game.
forever.
Yes.
Yeah, and have you played with like the Amber Mines expansion?
Uh-huh. No, I haven't.
Oh, that one makes the game even better. Like, especially
Wow.
if you like co-op, it adds
Yeah, yeah.
co-op, but it makes it like a better solo experience, and it makes like the mine part better. It's everything
Cool.
it does improves an already awesome game. It's incredible.
Nice.
So
That's super cool.
if you're ever looking for an expansion, that's a good one to get.
Great.
There are lots of other games too, but I think that one was kind of the highlight for me. Before we get into Hyperwars, if you're cool with it, I want to talk about the UK Games Expo.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. I'd
Because
love to talk about it. Yes.
yeah, you went, you took your game there, you met with other designers. Give us that highlights reel.
Nice. So it's very important to highlight that UKG is probably my favorite convention. I mean, of all of them for sure. I really like it. I've been there before, like in 2019, as a visitor and also playtesting. Actually, playtesting Hyperwars. It was one of the first conventions I took it to back there. And then I came back this year, and it was the first time for me as a company, as an exhibitor. So
Oh,
I
that's
went
cool.
there with my own booth. So this was really cool, really, really amazing. So the experience was super nice. We had one of those what they call it starter booths. I think it's 3 by 2 meters, so not super big, but you can fit like 2 tables there. And I was thinking, okay, maybe I can have 2 copies of Hyperwars and then play them in both tables, or we are making a new game as well. And okay, maybe we can play test a little bit the other game. So yeah, that could be nice. But then when we got there, I never realized that I ordered a round table and a square table or rectangular table, and the round table was massively big. I didn't expect that table to be that big. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna run Hyperwars on this because I love to play Hyperwars on a round table. Because since the cards like go around when you
Oh
play
yeah.
them, so it makes a lot of sense to make like the environment all round as well. So we decided to do this. We only had enough chairs for one table, and this was also good because I wanted people to play Hyperwars standing. Because I mean, it's a 5 minutes game in the end, and like everybody's super hyped when they play, and so it was super nice. So I was expecting some hype around Hyper Wars, and I couldn't really expect what happened there. It was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, I haven't stopped playing the game the whole 3 days. It was super crazy. Everyone
Whoa.
to play, and like I had people like laughing and screaming and shouting and at the booth, and this is super nice because it draws a lot of attention, right? People are passing by, and just seeing people like standing right next to a table and like screaming and trying to do stuff very quickly and so on. So everybody was very hyped, and it was super nice. I was at the time, of course, I wasn't having the Kickstarter campaign yet, so I was basically trying to collect more emails for my email list, and on that I succeeded a lot. So it was really cool.
Oh, that is awesome.
So, but one of my biggest surprises was actually the other game because we took a very rough prototype to UKG. Very rough. I mean, some parts of the game I had printed on a A4 paper sheet, and it was like that. So, and no one seemed to really care because the game was good. So we got a lot of people playing as well. I wasn't expecting. I was expecting to play test that game like maybe on the last day in the afternoon. It was Sunday, so yeah, maybe it would be enough. But we decided to put it on the table on Friday since we had 2 tables, and we never stopped playing as well. So it was really cool, really good. So
Wow.
of course, it's a completely different game. It's a resource management game with a touch of economic game as well. So
Yeah,
it's
can you share what it is? Do you like or do you
what,
are you not
what,
ready to talk about it yet?
what do you know?
What is it? What's the theme? What's the
Nice.
yeah? How do you play sorta?
Okay, I don't want to talk too much at this point, but I can share some stuff. It's a
Yeah.
modern theme, of course. It is as I said, a resource management game, but we didn't want anything like I don't know. I'm dealing with rock and metal and wheat or something like this. So we decided to make more modern. So it takes place like on Earth, and it's like a global game, a sort of global game. You're taking like resources all over the globe and stuff like this, and you're basically playing as the CEO of a startup. So that's what you're doing, and so the game is highly economic and has a lot of different ways to make your evaluation points, because we don't call it victory points in this case, because basically you're trying to also get your, as a startup, of course, you need money to do what you want, and then you have investors. So you're trying to actually make your investors happy to improve your evaluation. So that's one of the things you're doing in the game.
That sounds awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, it is. And
that's a
if
good
you,
tease.
yeah, if you want to play, Riley, I can invite you, because I have it ported to Tabletop Simulator. So maybe
Oh,
we can play.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a rule about Tabletop Simulator because of the anti-trans stuff, but I will
yes,
play
yes,
friends games, and that's the only time I will use it. So I will definitely take you up on that. Uh,
awesome. Yes,
so because I like, I really wanted to do Hyperwars, and I know you had that on, Tabletop Simulator, but
yeah,
it's a game. It's a dexterity game. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
it's hard to do anything dexterity there. Um, so I'm just like, you know what? I'll wait until I can play it in person. Like, so,
Yeah, no,
uh,
I hope you will very soon. Let's see.
yeah, yeah. Just send me a. I know I don't really do reviews. Send me a review copy, man. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Yeah.
no, no. um, but that's cool. Did you get with the UK Games Expo? Did you get to go around at all? Did you? It sounds like it was pretty busy, but did you have little breaks where you could look at other booths, go maybe play another game or something?
Yeah, actually I was very busy, but we had a team this time, so I didn't go by myself.
Oh, good.
I took my business partner with me, the other half of Dice Coalition Games, and we also took two friends with us to help us and everything. So this was also something very very nice, like to go as a company and being able to like put some people there to help you out and have people like having fun, because like, okay, of course they're kind of doing you a favor, but at the same time you are helping them, like paying stuff like travel or hotel and stuff like this. It feels really nice to do this as a company as well. So yeah, so answering your question, yeah, I had some time to go around. Of course, I also spend a lot of time talking to like distributors and manufacturers and other game designers. We had this amazing group of UK game designers. I'm not from UK, but they accept me to their group, so I'm really happy with that.
That's awesome.
And we had a get together during the evenings, for example. So we went like have a beer and talk about. I had, I think, two of them were having Kickstarters during the UKGE, and both of them were successful. Although one of them decided to cancel, even if it was very close to the mark, because he had some like decisions to make, and so he decided to cancel the whole thing. But in general, it's pretty nice. This convention is really good. I don't know. Have you been to UKG before? Or
It's I. There's like probably three conventions that I absolutely want to go to. Like 100%, I'm committed to going sometime, and that's one of them.
yeah, but it definitely should, because I mean it's very good. One of the things they say that is the big difference between, for example, UKG and Essen, is that you have more new game launches during Essen,
Yeah,
which is fine, of course, because this also makes, in my opinion, Essen more like a sales convention. People go there like to more buy the games than actually play the games. And I feel that the UKG, of course, you can also buy a ton of games there if you're there, and have like new games coming out, of course. But the feeling I have is that most people are there for the experience of like, okay, I want to play this new game, I want to know this new thing and this kind of stuff. So it's really intense and really good.
yeah. That makes sense. You always see people come back with their hauls, and I've only done local conventions, and there's not that many exhibitors there, so it's like I come home empty-handed, but I'm totally fine with it because I was playing games the whole time. You know, like that
Yes.
was my whole thing. Is like I spend like 30 minutes maybe in the exhibitor hall, and then the rest of it's at the game library and game tables.
Yeah.
So
It's really cool. Of course, it's not as big as Essen, but it's still it's amazing. I think it's a great experience as a both as a visitor and now as a game designer slash company owner.
this inspires me to do another topic sometime of getting people who have done booths at conventions and talking about like, oh, what have you found is successful, what doesn't work? Because I've worked at booths too,
Ah,
but not for games, like just for my own company. And like you were talking about, where if there are people at your table playing, laughing, having fun, it draws a crowd in, and that happened. Like, you know, I'm just selling lawn treatments, and so people, like, if I can even just get somebody to just chat with me casually, I will, so that all of a sudden people are like, well, somebody's interested, let me come in, and then like start chatting, and like all of a sudden you have a group, and then, you know, eventually
yeah,
that dissipates, and it's like, oh, now I just need to like pull one more person in, and then like I can build off that again.
yeah.
uh,
There is this tension moment where you cross eyes with someone coming by your roof. Like,
yes.
is this person gonna ask something, or does it we want to? I don't know. Will it want to play, or I don't know what is going on? And then there is this moment where you're like hesitating to go like and say, "Do you wanna try it?" or "Do you wanna know about this game?" or something. And then people are just like they look and if they see you looking at them, they just look away because I don't know they don't want to be like it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things. You know, you have the same thing when you're like uh, walking in a like a long hallway or something, and then somebody's on the other side of the
Yeah.
hallway walking towards you, and it's an isolated hallway type thing. Like it's just the two of you, and you kind of like make eye contact, but you're too far away to wave, or too like. So you say, when do you say hello? When do you try and draw someone in? Do you just ignore them
Yes.
the whole time? That's funny.
Yeah.
It's the
There
same
was
type of thing at a convention.
Yeah. Also, with the Hyperwars, there is something very amusing that happens because I mean, Hyperwars is a real time game, right? So, and not everyone likes real time games. So this
Yeah.
is normally the first thing I say, and then I just search on the people face to see if okay, am I doing the right thing here, or should I let this poor soul go away because they don't want to play the game for sure? And something quite. I mean, for me, it was amusing. For just some people, I tell this, they feel like, wow, what a rude person. But for me, it was very fun because I was explaining the game to this guy. He came to the booth by himself, and I was like, okay, this is Hyper Wars. It's a real time game. And then he kind of made a face. I was like, okay, he doesn't like real time games. I'm fine. So every time I started like stopping talking about the game to give him some space to like go away, he will just stay. So I just kept telling him about the game because the guy wouldn't go away. I was like, okay, maybe he doesn't want to go. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he likes real time games. I don't know. And then I explained it all to him. And then at the end, he just turned to me and said, sounds terrible.
Oh no!
Yes. And then he went away like, oh, yeah, all right.
Oh my gosh, that's awful. Yeah, like what do you
Yeah,
even say
I
to
mean,
that, right?
yeah. I mean, it's fine. I'm
You could be
fine with
like,
people not liking my game. It's okay.
oh, absolutely. Or, yeah, like that's kind of a compliment. Like, okay, somebody cared enough to like listen and be like, huh, yeah, not for me, but I mean, that's kind of that's a
Yeah,
little much. Like, just be
yeah.
like, oh, it's not my. I'm not into that. That's okay.
Well, exactly.
Good
Yeah,
luck.
I get it. I get it. Yeah. So that's that. Now that you said good luck, made me remember of something quite the opposite. Because I also went with my company to a convention in Finland. It's called Tracon, and I was super surprised about how polite people were there. I was like, they were like, Nice. Okay, so real time is not really my thing, but look, very good luck in your Kickstarter campaign. I hope it really funds super fast or something. Everyone was so sympathetic about this. Like, I was like, oh my god, these people they don't like my game, but I feel like they like me or something.
Yeah.
It's so polite. It's
That's
really cool.
cool. And that's how it should be, right? Like, even if, if I like you, that's great. I like, that's what's more important to me. And I may not like the game. May not back it. I'm definitely backing Hyperwars. But like, I wouldn't wish you, like, or tell you like, this is a terrible game. I might give
Yeah,
feedback. Like, feedback is great. Actually play the game and tell me what you think of it then. I don't know. That's just
yeah. No,
weird.
I get it. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why good feedback is so valuable because normally feedback comes more in this kind of terms like no, I don't like it, it's terrible. Like, sure,
Yeah.
how does that help me? I don't know.
Well, it's like you were paying attention while explaining and trying to give those opportunities. Like, if you're not interested, you can go.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
which I think is very polite. But then, yeah, it's an interesting thing. But that's another thing about feedback, right? Is like you need to look for the nonverbal feedback of like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
even if
and
somebody
also
likes
about
it, maybe there's those moments.
having a booth on a convention.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So risking inviting myself to fourth time in your show. If you ever want to do a topic about this, I'm totally
You're
into talking
invited. You.
about this.
I just need to find other people as well.
Nice, nice.
I'm sure that wouldn't be too hard. Yeah, that would be fun. I think it would be great to get three, like maybe three people total or four people,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that
just
would be
talk
good.
about it. Yeah. Did you have more experiences with it?
So yeah,
I'm sure there's
yeah,
tons.
it was pretty much that. So it was really cool. A great convention, as I said. I really recommend anyone that likes the board game and likes going to conventions. Of course, going to UKG. It's an awesome experience. Also, of
Nice.
course, English breakfast. So this is the. I mean, if you're going there, why not, right? So
That's the highlight, right?
that's always the highlight. Full English breakfast is the like best food in the world, I guess. So,
I always get so jealous when my friends from the UK post pictures of like food, just any food really. They have so many good
yeah.
like pastries and just everything. Like everything looks amazing and I'm just like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll go to McDonald's, like that's what I've got." I mean, I'm sure I could make things if I wanted, but like I don't know. I'll just eat my French toast sticks.
English
Well,
food is very good. I really appreciate it though. So.
yeah. Are you going next year?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, we are already talking about it. We didn't go to Essen this year. We also want to go to Essen next year because
Okay.
Essen is also more expensive as a exhibitor as well than UKG. Of course, it's a much bigger convention as well. So
Yeah.
we wanted to have some stuff to sell at least to I don't know help with the costs. So
Yeah, that makes sense. You've got to kind of offset that. I mean, this is going to UK Games Expo with the booth is like an investment, right? You're trying to
yeah,
get
that's for sure. Yeah.
some interest in it. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Well, you've got to balance that. So next year you'll hopefully have Hyper Wars in hand, and then you'll be demoing your economic game, and then you'll have a different prototype there, and demoing Hyper Wars, and people will be leaving it, and it'll be flying off your shelves, and you'll be like, "Oh, made plenty."
I love the way you're thinking because that's exactly my plan for next year.
Yeah, good. It's kind of I'm we're not well, whatever. I'll just say the first convention that I did, we probably were down like $300. Like we didn't make enough money to pay for the booth. And I talked to everybody afterwards is like, "Oh, how was your show? How'd it go?" All the neighbors we had made friends with,
Yeah.
like because you're neighbors with these people for 3 days, like
Yes,
you
yes.
make friends. And we told them like, we didn't make enough to break even. We're like 300 short, and they're like, "Oh, that's really good for your first show." Like my first show, I like barely made any. Like I didn't really make much. Like
Yeah.
that's not bad at all. And then the next time we broke even, and they were like, "Whoa!" Like breaking even on your second show. So
That's
it's
really
it's an
cool.
interesting thing because there's definitely an art to it. Like we've sort of talked about. There's an art to bringing people in and weeding
Yeah,
out people who aren't actually interested, but they're just like there to chat, which is fun. But
yeah,
you also
exactly. Yeah.
like need to pay for your booth and hopefully make money.
Exactly, and also of course balancing how much you spend and how much you get back. Exactly, like doing those things you're talking about now. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's a hard thing to do. It takes practice, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. And there's people that was one of the interesting there's at that convention was they were like, this is my job. I travel and I go to multiple shows a month and this is it. This I just am a convention lifer, and
Yeah,
which is fascinating. And they make good money doing it, but
yeah, exactly. You know that I would love to do this. I mean, after the show, my business partner he was saying like, "Oh man, I can't stand like having this. I don't know every month or so or every 2 months. It's too much. It's
yeah.
very heavy." And I was like, "No way! I wanted to do this every 2 weeks. For me, it's like perfect. I would love to do something like this, working with conventions and like having people and teaching them to play the game. Like yeah, I would spend my whole year doing this for sure."
No, that's awesome. That's cool to hear. Hey, come to Utah. Come to Salt. No, it probably wouldn't be worth it. But come to Utah anytime you want. We'll hang out.
All right, all right. I'm not gonna disclose something too deep now, but Dice Collision has some plans for the US, to be honest. So let's see.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Ooh, okay. Well, that's
let's see.
exciting. I'm hoping to get out to like some other convention, so I will definitely keep my uh, eyes peeled for that news.
The thing about the US is that there are so many conventions there, but so many that it's probably worth it if you do like, okay, I'm gonna take 30 days vacation from my job and I'm gonna spend like 25 days just crossing the US and going to every convention I find in my way or something like this. So
Yeah.
I think that's how we want to do this when we do it.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good well, I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Definitely let
really
me
cool.
know.
Yeah, you be the first one I'll talk about with this. That's for sure.
Sounds good. Well, let's talk about Hyperwars. You have made a lot of changes over the last year, so let's dive in. I guess first, yeah, what it is first, I guess.
So yeah, for people that never heard about it before here or anywhere else, so Hyperwars, as I was saying, is a real-time game. It has a cyberpunk setting, a cyberpunk theme, and players they play like cyberpunk corporations. You can think of this like a Blade Runner or Altered Carbon type of corporations, and the players they're trying to fulfill the demands and needs of districts in the city. Every district is a different board on the table, and every player can get to this board with their agents. So they are like small meeples, and you can go with your agents there. And if you have more agents than anyone else after the timer, because yes, there is a timer, the game takes 5 minutes on a timer to play. Then after that, if you are the person with more agents than anyone else in that specific district, you get the chance to try and fulfill the needs with the resources you have deployed there in that district to fulfill the demands of that district exactly. So let's say one district might request from you three red boxes and three blue boxes, for example. So if you have exactly that, and you are the person with most agents there, you're going to get the highest amount of points from that district. And anyone else that doesn't have as many agents as you do can also try to fulfill after you for a little bit less points. So it's basically an area control game. You're trying to control to get control of an area while you do this. But the game has a huge catch because the main mechanism of the game is um, all you do, like playing your agents or playing your resources to fulfill the demands, you do by playing your action cards. And every time you play an action card, you pass this card to the next player on your right. So there is a flow of cards going around the table throughout the whole 5 minutes in the game. So you pushing cards from one side and you're taking cards from the other side. There is a central deck that allows you to put more cards into that mix. And at the end of the 5 minutes, you're gonna, after the scoring part, you're gonna lose points based on how many cards you still have in your hands. So basically, there is a rush for you to get rid of as many cards as you can, but at the same time, you cannot rush too much because you still need to think about your strategy there, where you want to send your agents or your resources and so on. So you don't lose points from the districts as well, of course. So I mean, that's a very high level overview of the game.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a very intense, very fast paced. People like normally play one or two times and they are like super tired, like doing like deep breaths and everything. And that's why, of course, the game has 5 difficulty levels. So I normally present the game in like the very basic level, so people can take that in and understand how the game works and get used to how the game works. And then eventually they're going to go up. And as you go up, there's going to be more components and more strategies, but the timer will remain 5 minutes. So it's just more action to do in the same amount of time. So it gets insane. At level 5 is like totally crazy. I mean, I invented the game and sometimes I can't stand like playing more than 2 or 3 times in a row because it's very intense.
That's awesome. But I mean, that's always good to hear, though. I like hearing that, like, it's still strenuous on the designer. Like, it's not boring. It's not stale. So,
Yeah, no, not at all. If there is one thing Hyperwars is not, is stale because everything changes like every time. It's like, yes.
yeah. The artwork last year, beautiful. It
Ah,
looks amazing. The I think the original had meeples, right? Just little wood
yes,
meeples.
like very Carcassonne type meeples made of plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So with that in mind, I guess what kind of upgrades have you gone through? What have you done since last year?
Nice. So I collected a lot of feedback during the campaign as well about how the game looked and how attractive it was. So the game hasn't changed it rules wise, so it's still the same game. There is one I consider a major thing though that we did is that after the campaign last year, we played a lot of times. We made a lot of tests with 2 players, and we didn't have to adjust anything on the rules itself. And the game works super good with 2 players. I just haven't tested enough to say, okay, this is a 2 player game as well. So the game went from 3 to 5 to 2 to 5 players, which is nice. It's much easier to find one other person to play with you instead of 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And also, we added this, of course, is a rules change. We added a solo version to the game as well. It plays differently. I'm gonna go ahead straight and say I don't think it's like the same game. It has a different feeling. For example, it's not a 5 minutes game anymore. It takes a lot longer than that. It's more like a puzzle game in a sense, but it's still very fun. It is a different game for sure, but it's not. But it's not. It's good. It's a very good game. Very fun to play. And then, of course, we did a lot of changes in the visuals of the game as well. We revamped basically every component because we have revamped all the meeples. So they are not meeples anymore. So the agents, before, as I was saying, they were like this Carcassonne like meeples just made out of plastic. And now they are something I call peoples. They have like round, big heads and small bodies. They are super cute, super cute,
They
and
really are.
yeah, and much better to play with them. Because you can hold the agents by the head. Before it was harder to get hold of your agents and move them around the boards, and now it's much easier. We changed the resources. Previously, the resources they were like plain cubes, so just like regular plastic normal cubes of different colors. And with this one, we went like way crazy because we decided to do a 3D model of a crate, sort of a box. Because I mean, that's more or less what it is in the lore of the game. It's about corporations putting their agents to move their products around and deliver to the markets, to the districts in the city. So basically, you would move your stuff around on in crates, I guess. So that's why we decided to go with crates, and we had a friend designing the model for a very nice futuristic kind of cyberpunk crate. And for all the review copies, we printed them at home. We have this resin printer, 3D printer, and we printed all the models, all the cubes to a much better look and feel of the
Wow.
game. So this is one of the highlights of the game now. Also, by far the most expensive component of the game, that's for sure. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, but it's totally worth it because it changes the way you see and you feel the game. When you touch the boxes and you feel all the details and it's super nice. It gives you a very distinct feeling about the game. It's super cool. And finally, we haven't changed at all the artwork. I'm completely in love with Hyperwars artwork. I really love it. What we did though is that before the districts, as I said, you have to put your agents in the districts, and the way you know where to put them is that the district has some dividers, some there are lines splitting the area of the board, so you know more or less where to put your agents. And those were previously white lines. You can see, but the others can't. But you can see here, it's like if you
Yeah.
see, they are
You
all
can
like.
definitely tell the differences.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very it's just a white line, and I remade all these dividers, and I made them more cyberpunk. So I made them like neon. So now you can definitely see the difference. It's like they kind of glow even. Like it's
Oh
super nice.
yeah. Yeah, it looks like neon lights, like neon light bars coming out and making the shape. Now it looks like before it just looked like a break in it, like
Exactly. Yeah.
it didn't look bad by any means, but that makes it feel thematic. That makes those
Yes.
dividers feel like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool looking. It looks like a pattern, a logo or something even.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Some people, if you some people will look at this and say this looks like how do you call this hairline when you have the scope in your gun, for example. If you're trying to take a shot at someone or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I could definitely see that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's much better now. It gives a completely different feel to the game. And the same goes for the other cards because of course before all the resources they were shown as a cube as well in the cards, and now it's going to be a different icon that represents the model box that we have. So I'm pretty confident the game is much more engaging now. It's really cool, and taking it to conventions this year kind of showed me on the spot that the people were coming like approaching the table just to see the components of the game. So this was really amazing.
That is awesome. That's what I like to hear. And it's so surprising to me cuz before I thought it looked beautiful, right? That artwork is
Yeah, artwork is
amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, your box cover gorgeous. Like it looks cyberpunk. It is exactly what I want in a cyberpunk game. Uh
Nice.
and so yeah, it just I know that before it probably would have funded maybe just certain things been met, conditions like of just advertising it more or
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
out
yeah.
into those things. But now I think even more so than before, it's going to draw people in who either haven't heard of it at all, like just seeing some of those, just seeing that the people, right? Like
Yeah, the peoples, yes.
seeing that the artwork even more, like I think it's gonna the boxes,
Yeah,
like
the
all
crates,
of
yes.
that's gonna make it stick out and shine. I'm really excited because the more people who back it means the more likely I am to get my copy. So
Yes, exactly.
so
Yeah,
do it, people. Come on, back it.
yeah. Package, yes.
Do you have some surprises in mind for the campaign, like that haven't been announced? And you don't have to announce them here, but
No, sure. I mean, we have we have worked some a bit more on the stretch goals this time
Mhm.
because we were thinking like, okay, what can really change or what can really improve the experience of playing Hyperwars. So it's not about adding more stuff. So we're not really doing it
Hmm.
like adding, I don't know, expansions or different things that change the game. It's more like, okay, how can we make the experience better? So we're gonna have some nice stretch goals that will aim exactly for that. The one that we are sharing with last year's is the mobile app. So we're gonna have a stretch goal that is a mobile app. So
Ooh.
as I said, the game has this timer, but of course you can use your regular timer on your cell phone as well. No worries. But we definitely think we can improve the experience of playing the game if you have like sound and if you have sort of warnings telling you that it's only 1 minute left or only 30 seconds or something like this. So we are already playing with that idea and developing the thing. It's a very simple application, that's for sure. And since both me and Tulio, my business partner, we are programmers, we're probably doing it ourselves. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. This stretch goal is one of my favorite. But stay tuned because there's more. There is a lot more.
Awesome. By the time people are hearing this, the campaign will be live, so you can go and look it up, or there's a link in the episode description. So go check it out.
Nice. Exactly. So it's live now. People go there and back it because Hyperwars is an awesome game. So it's not a one of those complex and long games. It's the opposite of this. It's a simple to learn but very hard to master game, and it doesn't take long to play. So even my group, what we do nowadays is that we love to use Hyperwars as a sort of a feeder game. So you are waiting for your game night to start, or you're just between two games waiting for the second group to finish another game or something. It takes like 5 minutes to set up, 5 minutes to play, 5 minutes to score. That's that. So if you like this kind of like adrenaline rush, and if you don't believe you can get this from a board game, think again because you can definitely get it from Hyperwars.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things I'm also really excited about is that there are no, I'm hopefully I don't get in trouble here with anybody, but there's games that are short. There's games that are fast. There's dexterity games, and they're exciting for their own way, in their own way. But to me, this one actually looks like a fast-paced, interesting game that has a really cool table presence. Like I think there's so much going for this, and yeah, it's probably going to be like the start of the night or the end of the night. Like, oh, we finished earlier. Let's play a game of this.
Let's play. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, which is I definitely think this will make it out plenty. But it's not any less of a game than any other bigger game. Like it seems like an actual full experience contained
yeah,
in
yeah.
in the 15-minute
Yeah.
window that you'll be playing it or have it out.
Yeah, I
So
really like to think the same exactly because I mean even all this rush, all this fast pace in the game, this was all factored in from the beginning. This was a design decision from the get go. I wanted to make a game that was in some level a bit stressful, that would put you in this urgency mode that you need to fix something or you need to like, and you don't have actually time to look too much to the other players because you're losing time as you do it. So all this is factored in as the design decisions in the game. So it's really an experience, and I built it like this. I built it to be a sort of a fast-paced, rushed decision making on spot experience.
yeah, that's wonderful. I'm so excited. Just so excited.
Me
Hopefully
too.
by
Me
the
too.
time this
Can't
airs,
wait.
it will already have been like it'll be funded, right? Like we're about 24 hours into the campaign at this point, maybe give or take.
Maybe,
Uh,
yeah, no.
and so like hopefully it's funded. Hopefully you're listening to this and you're just going to go and support and help reach stretch goals and yeah, definitely check it out. We kind of talked about like what you've been into outside of board games already. So unless
Yeah.
there's anything more you wanted to share.
Mm, no, I think it's mostly everything we have to say. I think.
Cats, bread. That's it, right?
Yeah, well, that's amazing.
And then we let's do ridiculous theme.
Oh, nice.
Do you have one? So, in case anyone hasn't heard this before, ridiculous theme is a segment where we talk about, or we each come up with a board game idea that has a ridiculous theme. Something, like it could be like potty training an infant. It could be cleaning up cat litter, or like researching and evaluating how much cat litter you need and changing it right. All that stuff. That's all ridiculous themes. Doesn't mean it's a bad game or a bad idea.
I don't know. Let's see. I can think of something that is quite present quite present in most of places, most cities at least, I guess, that are close to the sea. And it happens a lot here in Stockholm. And I maybe this could be a good way to start a ridiculous theme. So there is those. Oh my god, I forgot the name of the bird in English. The white ones that go over like the beach and like
Oh, seagulls.
seagulls. Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to say. The seagulls. So there's a lot of those seagulls, and of course also ravens here in Stockholm. And you need to take care of your food when you are outside, especially during summer. They're always trying to get to you, trying to find a spot where the food is unprotected or something. So maybe that's an interesting cooperative, ridiculous theme for a game. Like you need to protect your food or your table or your picnic, something like this, from the seagulls and maybe the ravens as well. I don't know. Maybe you can, I don't know, try to make them fight each other because they do that, right? So when they compete for the food. So maybe it's I don't know, maybe it could work.
That's a great idea. I like that. I almost also imagine like you could have like a picnic one of like picnic at the beach, right? You could do scenarios so it's like protect it from the birds here, and then you go to the woods and it's like now you have to do it from bears and from ants, like
Yeah, that would be great. Yes, yes, like protecting your food from like general animals, like trying to get your food from you.
yeah. It could just be like have a nice picnic, but don't get interrupted by those darn animals trying to steal your food.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I can see. Have you played Clank?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love Clink.
Yeah, I love the sound, the not sound, the noise mechanism they have that you
Yeah.
put your cubes inside the bag and something like this. So I can see a game like that where every time like you move food around the table, you kind of you spill something or you drop like small parts of it, and you just add this to a bag. And
Oh
if
my
you
gosh.
drop too much sugar, I don't know, then the ants come and then they want to get your food or something.
That's awesome. That's a great idea. Yeah, like it could be, you're drawing out and then you might even put it out on the board like uh where now you've drawn an ant's attention. So you put the ant cube on there and then every turn it's going to start moving closer and closer to the crumb that's left behind or something. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot to explore with that. That's a really good like idea.
Yeah, maybe you can have this like Tetris like game where you take like pieces and you need to like put all on the table, like arrange your table. But depending on the size of the piece, it drops more sugar or spills some more juice, and then gonna add to this bag. So
Yeah.
yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool.
What this is like the OCD part of me where most of the time I don't love food at my table, but it's almost like encouraged here, right? Spill your wine on this game, eat cookies and have crumbs on it. It just adds to the flavor of it.
So, oh, actually, maybe this could be the edible game we were talking about at the beginning. Maybe you actually make the food you're putting on the table, and like
Oh,
yeah, maybe the crumbles are like if you have too much crumble or it goes to a certain area of the board, then I don't know, you have the ants coming or the seagulls coming or something.
oh my goodness, that is so great. To take it even further, if you made it picnic style, of like what if the game board is a picnic blanket type thing
Wow,
that
it would be
has like
amazing. Wow.
like let's just go over the top here, and it's like,
Wow.
sitting in certain areas and crumbs are gonna fall and
That's so amazing. Wow. Have you played Dreadfleet?
I haven't, no.
So with the board in Dreadfleet is a huge board, but it's not really a board. It's a big piece of cloth. So it's basically a tablecloth that you put on top of your table and you play. And it's just the sea in the case of Dreadfleet because you have like ships and stuff that you can maneuver in the sea and stuff like that. It's basically a sea battle type of game.
Mhm.
But that definitely works. Having like a cloth as a
It's a
board.
map
It's
board,
a map,
yeah.
exactly. So it could be an actual picnic cloth, tablecloth or something. And then you play and you have areas. Wow, this is amazing.
Oh, that would be a there we go. That is such a good ridiculous theme.
Wow, I love it. It's really cool.
I don't even like, I built a little bit on yours. I don't know if I have anything else that could come close to that. So
Yeah. From the same developers of cat litter, human litter.
yes, yes, we've done it. Coming to Kickstarter or crowdfunding. That would have to be like, there is no way you could produce that game without going through crowdfunding. Like getting blankets made for
Wow,
every box, that would be a pricey game. That's a yeah.
that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, perfect. On that note, why don't you go ahead and plug your stuff?
You can find us on most of the social media. So if you look on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or even TikTok by Dice Coalition Games, so Dice Coalition Games, you're definitely going to find us. Also, you can find us on our YouTube channel. It's not very active these days, but we have some really interesting Hyperwars videos there. Or if you want to know more about Hyperwars, you can go straight to playhyperwars.com. And there you're going to find a lot of fun about this very short but very intense game.
Thank you so much for listening. By now, the campaign should be live. There will be a link in the episode description, so you can just click on that and it'll take you right to the campaign and go check it out. If you're enjoying the show, please leave a review, rate it, share it with your friends, family, share it on social media, etc. You can follow me on Twitter at RiledNerd, and that is it. Until next time, keep nerding out.
I went to Essen in, when was it? 2017, I think, and or maybe 16. Yeah, it was 16. And then I was going through the halls, and I saw um, the guy that designed Cthulhu Wars from Peterson game, Sandy Peterson. So this guy is one of my favorite. Like I'm not gonna even say game designers because I was going to say authors because he's also the author of Call of Cthulhu, the RPG, the tabletop RPG. And I saw him there teaching other people how to play Cthulhu Wars, and I was super happy to see him because I have a great memory of playing Call of Cthulhu with my friends when we were like younger and stuff. And I'm pretty sure that the designer, he probably doesn't know how much he influenced so many people's lives. And mine was one of them, that's for sure. Because in order to learn how to play Call of Cthulhu, I had to learn English because there was no translations to Portuguese at the time in Brazil. So I had to learn how to read to play the game, and I was super motivated to do that. So his work not only motivated me to learn English, and by learning English, I basically changed my life. It gave me a lot of opportunities I had like for work and friendship and so on. But also his work allowed me to keep my friends together, to have a group that would come back again and again to play every week. So it was an amazing moment to see him there. And of course, I approached him and I was like, "Oh, Mr. Peterson, can I take a picture with you?" and so on. And he was super nice. He just like excused himself from the table that he was teaching the game for, and he posed for a picture and was very, very nice. He was a super cute guy, and yeah, it was amazing. Really, really fun moment.